Welcome. This is Zangler, the Tesla Semi Advocate, bringing you the very first Giga Semi drone flyover video for 2026, January 5th, probably around 10 a.m. And it's beautiful, crisp, cool, slightly windy northern Nevada day. And one thing you can look forward to, if you stick around till the end, I include a few pictures of what it looked like, of what this high volume semi factory looked like almost exactly a year ago today. And spoiler alert, the stamping building had not been constructed yet. They were still working on the stamping pits. So it's pretty interesting to see where they were a year ago. And we are now flying down the western perimeter of the building, looking for anything interesting to zoom in on. And the first thing I noticed was this new crane that I had not seen before. So I asked Grok a little bit about it after zooming in to try to get the name of the crane. It is a rental. It is rented. So that would mean that Tesla is operating it, to me, with their own staff. And the purpose of this crane, you could kind of tell looking at it that it was a low-profile crane. And what Grok told us about it is as follows. IC250 industrial carry deck crane. And this is a compact, self-propelled mobile crane designed primarily for industrial and maintenance applications in confined or space-restricted environments. Its key advantage is its low-profile design, overall height around 8 feet that allows it to clear overhead obstacles, maneuver in tight spaces, and operate where larger cranes cannot fit. It's got an 18-ton capacity, and it says it makes it efficient for moving heavy machinery, HVAC units, piping, or components without needing separate transport. So that's what Grok says. Continuing our way around the western edge, this is the stamping section G, and this is what you can see at the end of the video. Was not present a year ago. Take a little peek inside. Based on my screen, I couldn't see much, but some of the viewers have enlarged it and been able to elaborate on what we see. Still, just a lot of equipment still. So there's a ton of equipment all around this factory that still needs to bring in, and nothing I see makes me think that initial production will commence any sooner than the late in the second quarter. Now, it's not single thread activity. They could be working on finishing one part of the assembly line, say the paint shop, long before other equipment is even brought in. This is an indicative of what I'm talking about. There's still a lot to happen in there. Tesla is really good at doing this, but they can't work miracles. So I'm still sticking with second half or late second quarter for the very first beginning of attempting to put together a Tesla Semi on this high volume line. And then the ramp's going to take a bit, but when it does reach peak capacity, they're going to have to be bringing in massive amounts of raw materials and supplier parts. That's going to be just an incredible hub of activity with raw materials coming in every day. This is the self-propelled transportation unit. It's a very fascinating thing to see run, and it's used to bring in heavy equipment. It's operated something like a drone, where an operator has a shoulder-mounted controls, and you can see that in action in some of my previous videos, and where the giant stamping machines were brought in. This is the Griffin gantry crane, patiently waiting for the delivery of possibly the final stamping press, and look forward to that activity. And again, if you stick around to the end, you'll see what this looked like a year ago. This was a dirt lot, and there was no building here, no stamping section G. Still all of that fascinating work on digging and pouring concrete into the stamping pit. Oh, yeah, I said concrete, not cement. Boy, do I hear it if I say cement. Anyways, another thing that is I haven't really focused in on, but you see those vents? There's a lot of we noticed when a big line of paint shop vents were put in, but over time I've noticed additional vents have been put in. We see really good progress on the chillers that they just installed. These chillers, I don't know, less than a month ago, and it looks like they're getting close to completing the wiring of the hooking up of the pipes that bring in the liquid to be chilled. Can you imagine? So this lunch truck makes me think about the general effect of this project on the local economy. Can you imagine being the lunch truck guy or gal who has a contract here? That's got to be fairly lucrative, let alone all of the other surrounding services, including the crane company, Bragg, who has heavy involvement in this project, and also has heavy involvement in the nearby AI projects. Here is all of this blue wrapped assembly equipment. I would much less than we've seen previously, and that is our that informs us about how close they're getting. I took a really good look at this truck, but I can't tell what they may or may not have unloaded. This is an interesting thing. This is a new structure, or at least a low wall built in. I'm just wondering if it's maybe a containment area in case of a battery issue. Time will tell. Another delivery of more equipment, massive amount of equipment all around this factory. As you can see there, there is a massive amount of work to be done. One of my favorite visits is the megachargers. We know that at least two of them are in operation, and it looks like there's still 2 more to be installed, because we know that the new V4 cabinets can support 8 superchargers / megachargers. The difference between a supercharger charger and a megacharger is the handle and the cable and the plug. I'll continue to fly about once or twice a week, and very interested to see what this is. I'm thinking perhaps it's a brake area. One, I know that near the megacharger up at GF1, they put in a little portable brake area so that the drivers charging their vehicles have a place to hang out and not have to walk all the way into the building proper. But really, if you think about it, that I doubt it. I'm second guessing my own speculation, because these chargers are not going to be used by, in general, are not going to be used by drivers, but rather to give Tesla semis coming out of the assembly line out this door, I believe, a quick charge before delivery. Sometime in the not too distant future, and you know how time flies, I'm going to have a drone video of that door with Tesla semis eventually driving themselves out and doing their own test run down this test track, which we're looking at right now. If you noticed in this video, there's been a lot of water. When I drove up, I noticed they were working on stormwater management. In general, the stormwater management seems to have been well thought out. There's no standing water around the Giga Semi, unlike initially for a long time up at Gigafactory 1, after a heavy rain, they would call the parking lot Lake Tesla. And I'm not sure if they remediated that up there, but down here, the only signs I have seen are something we're about to see in a little bit, and that is that at the very bottom before the wash, some of the stormwater management manhole covers were blown off, and water exited from the manhole cover instead of traveling down into the wash all the way like it should, and you'll see that. Anyway, taking a look now on the northern perimeter of the factory. Again, everywhere around this factory is equipment, and also the spoils of installation of packaging and piping and racking that is stored here before, like right here. That looks like a pile of stuff that's going to be taken out to recycling. We've had at least 40-45 mile an hour winds in the last month, which is typical for northern Nevada. And once again, that flag is showing a little bit of wear. So now we're going to take a look at the gentlemen, or the workers, I should say, that are working on this stormwater management. They regraded that lower road, which gives them access. And if you remember, if you've been following along, they placed all of that riprap rock with dozers, but mostly with other types of heavy equipment. Here's where you can see the blown out, where the water eroded away that path that they've created. I think those manhole covers there, or grates, were blown off, and you can see the track where the water went into the wash. It almost made it all the way to the wash. Excavators. That's the word that the brain could not recall. They used excavators to place and press in all of those rocks. And then they parked that little vehicle. They went as far as they could, and they had to walk the rest of the way over here to work on the fencing. and on that stormwater pipe, that stormwater manhole cover there, I had seen that those grates on top of it were blown off. You can see there's at least one worker in an orange blazer working there, and you can see some of the standing water underneath the culvert. All of this rock was placed by hand early on in the project. And one thing I've mentioned is at the bottom, they do a little zigzag, and that is to slow the force of the water draining, to slow it before it goes into that retention pond in the back. A lot of bins for placing the packaging from the assembly line equipment in, and there is a Cybertruck. Very likely could be a Tesla Semi Security. I think they are now exclusively driving Cybertrucks. Nice to see them get rid of those hideous Jeep pickup trucks that they used to drive. I take a good look in these bins. One of the things we're on the lookout for is stamping press practice doors or body panels or the like. I don't see anything in here like that. This is the west end of the factory, and you can see the water glistening in the retention pond. And here's what I promised. This is what it looked like almost a year ago today. So this is an indication of the progress. And I would like to thank you once again. And here's to 2026, the year of the Tesla Semi.